Hey, look, it's a bus. So I started to unwrap the bus, and then the wind kicked up, and I immediately began to regret that choice. So I think that this week we're going to take a look inside the bus and do a little bit of prep work before we decide if we're going to open up the whole side of this bus and try to hang another sheet of metal. So let's head on inside. New lights. Dad put those up. Super handy. All right. So this is where we left off. Last week we have this up. You can hear the Sikaflex doing its job in there. Or more, you don't hear as much of a rattle as you might have. So that's nice. You need to get the surface up, rust off all of this at some point, but for now, we're good. This is in. We get the two window holes. So we are on to this bay. And I gotta measure out, I think I can only do 3 bays at a time. Double check that. But we'll get this bay, and this bay. These are all bunks and closets. Up actually through this 4th bay. So I have not put in any steel yet up at the top of the bottom. And I have a new idea about that. I had been doing welding in these L channel or L's angles, steel angles, and that certainly works, and I can always do that. However, when I had started this, I had forgotten just how durable a piece of sheet metal with a couple of bends in it gets. So I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple quick measurements, and I'm going to try to make some L's that I can use to kind of adhere this thing in place. This is the a piece of flashing I put in. I'm going to try to back this with a sheet metal version of this, but with more bends. And I know that makes absolutely no sense, and that's okay. It'll hopefully make sense once I get started. Here we go. So a quick look with Mr. Tape Measure tells us that we want to be, well, it actually tells us that we want to be an inch and, let's see, an inch and a half, less than an inch and a quarter, inch and 5/8, inch and 9/16, something like that. For this bottom trough, I think we're going to go with an inch and a half, and that'll be okay. So we're going to make an inch and a half on the bottom, and then we're going to have it come up, and we're going to have it come back. And I might even have it go over more than that. And then we know that it has to be, so it's an inch and a half on the bottom, and it wants to be, let's see here, has to probably fit inside between these two things. It wants to be 26 inches in this direction. Wow, I can't point this camera at all. Inch and a half by 26 inches, and that'll get us into the realm of I can seal it. So next comes the question where I need to spend a few minutes and think about how many angles I want on these and what the dimensions want to be, because the thing about the bending brake that I own is that it's a little persnickety into what sizes you can do. But let's prep some sheet metal and move on. All right, so this piece of roof is 29 and a half. We said it needed to be 26 inches. But the first thing I think I'm going to, so what's this between the gaps here? 27 if I just take off both of these hems. So maybe I work off one of the hems on this side. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the hem off, and then I'm going to figure out my 26 inches. I'm going to do this with as few cuts as I can do. Grab some safety Hoosies. See how this works. That's a pretty ugly cut. We're way off here, so I'm going to put in a straight edge. Hopefully. A straighter-ish edge. And we're going to say that 26 inches in from that is where? I am being a little fast and loose here because it's not like I'm going to be this accurate anyways. It would be spectacular to be able to pretend I was going to be accurate enough to make this work beyond the level of accuracy I have here. It's going to have to be close enough. If anybody's wondering what level of accuracy I can get, typically I can keep it within the confines of the Sharpie marker line. I'm going to have to say that's good enough. And if I get worse at this, I'm going to have to get fatter Sharpies. Alright, let's see here. Alright. Should be about 26 inches-ish, which is the measurement I'm using right now. So let's imagine that I wanted to have a bend and a return at about the thickness of that plate, which is about 1/2 inch, I think. So we go start 16. So we go 1/2 inch. I think we can do another 1/2 inch. Then I need to do the 1.5 inches I want on the bottom. Then we'll go at least the thickness of that plate. It doesn't hurt me to go longer. So I'm going to go from 18 or 19, 18.5 to 21.5. Actually, what is the thickness of that plate? I'm going to check the thickness of that plate. That's about 2.5 inches, I guess. I'm gonna give myself like 3.5 inches because it's fine if it's longer. That's not gonna hurt me any. Then, so I'm gonna go up to 20, and then I want to just do another. I don't know that these bends will stay on here. Bend here. Bend here. Okay. So that's 0.5, 0.5, 1.5, 1, 2, 3.5, 0.5, 0.5. Come over here and do the same thing. Ish. 0.5, 0.5, 1.5. Make my life easy. 1, 2, 3, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay. So this does end up using 7 inches. steel, but that is why I saved all of that steel for the top of the bus. So as I sit here doing these things, I imagine that someday there might be a tradesman who actually works in these fields, in this case sheet metal, who's looking at their screen saying, dude, you're doing it so harder, you could just fill in the blank. And if that person does exist, tell me, please. All right, let's bend some metal. All right, so bent this thing to the shape. My supposition is that each of these little C's here give the flats quite a bit of strength, and then that angle right there is also going to give it quite a bit of strength. Let's find out. Well, actually, I'm not going to find out. I don't think I'm going to test this, because this isn't really load bearing. Let's see how it fits is the next question. Might have to do a little cleaning out in there, but right there we have this thing fitting into this window channel, filling it in nicely. And I can screw the plate in there. I think the same bill of materials is going to work fine up here. That fits in there nicely. It's screwed into this top part here. That'll let me attach that. Yeah, I think I need to make a bunch of these. Alrighty, and just like that, through the power of not bothering to record anything, I have 6 of these, all the same-ish enough that I can do. So I can put, I'm going to flip you around. So I've got 3 to go on the bottom of this window section. I have 3 that I've just tucked up here for now that'll go on the top and give the place to land. In the last video, I'd put this piece in here to kind of fill this gap. See, the second flex squeezed out nicely. Oh, that's actually very nice. I'd put that in to fill this gap, and I'm not going to take this out because that'd be a real pain in the butt. But these things do the same thing. So they will come down enough that I don't have to continue this particular technique. But I'm going to just leave it in there. I'll fire a little Sikaflex up in there just so it doesn't rattle, and then the sheet metal will get it from this side. And it is now sleeting on and off. So I'm probably going to call it a day because I don't like working in the sleet. Yes, I'm a big baby. But I got a little bit done. Hopefully beginning of next week, end of next week or something, beginning of the next weekend, I can get another sheet in over these 3 bays. I do still have to cover this. This might be the beginning of the next sheet. I don't know. And I'll have to make some more. I'll have to make some more of those little brackets, or whatever we're going to call them, filler-in panels, to fill in that one. Then I'll have one more up front here, plus some stuff that's going underneath these windows and over these windows. So I may have to do a few more of those little brackets up here. So I might have a few more of those to make, actually. I got a bunch more of those to make. I don't know that up here I'm going to bother doing the intricate, what is this, a 5 bend? Yeah, this is 5 bends. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that for the ones that are supporting such a tiny panel up here. I think these might just be single bend pieces. But we'll find out. Tune in next week for the exciting episode of, well, actually, you know what? It won't be next week. Tune in several weeks from now for the exciting episode of What the Heck Do I Do Here? But for now, I'm going to call it a weekend. So if you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe if you want to find out more about this stuff. And either way, have a wonderful weekend.